Okay, let's just dive right into this one, because we are looking at one of the absolute most highly anticipated matchups of the 2026 World Cup group stages so far. This crucial Group C clash had literally the entire footballing world talking. I mean, it was a true spectacle of international football. On one side, you've got the undisputed heavyweights of the group, Brazil, stepping out there with the weight of massive expectations on their shoulders. And then on the other side, a really spirited Scotland side, stepping under those incredibly bright lights, just looking to completely rewrite history. It was a match entirely defined by pressure, pedigree, and pure sporting drama. And that dynamic sets things up just beautifully. It begs the ultimate David versus Goliath question, right? Can a spirited underdog actually stop the mighty Seleção? We've all seen massive upsets in World Cup history before, those moments where sheer heart and determination completely derail a powerhouse. And Scotland, they came into this absolutely looking to be that exact kind of disruptor. But, as we're about to see, Brazil is a team that knows exactly how to handle that kind of heat. To truly get a feel for this match, you really have to understand the environment. The atmosphere inside Miami Stadium was, well, in a word, it was electric. You could physically feel the anticipation buzzing through the stands long before the opening whistle even blew. You had the vibrant yellow and green of the Brazilian supporters totally contrasting with the roaring, incredibly passionate traveling Scottish fans. It was a literal cauldron of noise, setting the perfect high-stakes stage as these two totally different footballing cultures finally took the pitch. Now, looming over this whole matchup is one single, massively imposing number, 5. That's Brazil's immense pedigree right there. 5-time World Cup champions. And you have to remember that history isn't just some statistic for them. It's a mentality they carry right out onto the field. So when Scotland came out pressing, really trying to disrupt them, Brazil didn't even blink. They didn't panic. They confidently managed their rhythm under pressure, leaning on decades of institutional confidence, and left absolutely zero room for doubt as they methodically went to work. Part 1. First half firepower. Let's look at this explosive start. Taking a quick bird's-eye view of the game's chronological flow, we can see some really massive momentum shifts. The match was defined by these key milestones: a devastatingly early strike right at the 7th minute, a completely backbreaking goal in stoppage time right before the half, the ultimate dagger at the hour mark, and then a monumental substitution at 75 minutes. So keeping that roadmap in mind, let's zoom in and break down exactly how Brazil executed this absolute masterclass. It all started just 7 minutes in. Bam! Brazil breaks the deadlock. What we saw here was Brazil ruthlessly capitalizing on some early, totally understandable nerves from the Scottish defense. Vinícius Júnior, using that world-class positional awareness of his, found himself in just the perfect scoring position, and he didn't hesitate for a second. He smashed the ball into the net with so much velocity and precision that he left Scottish goalkeeper Angus Gunn with literally zero chance. Just like that, a lightning-fast 1-0 lead. So, the really crucial thing here is how Scotland reacted to that early gut punch. Instead of crumbling, they really dug in and tried to compose themselves. They leaned heavily on their midfield, relying on the sheer relentless industry of Scott McTominay to win back possession. And they looked to John McGinn, hoping his creativity could somehow pry open that Brazilian backline. But, man, despite all that incredibly hard work and tactical effort from the Scots, Brazil simply controlled the tempo flawlessly. They just absorbed all that Scottish industry and dictated exactly how fast or slow the game was going to be played. And that flawless control led to what is perfectly described as a massive psychological blow. Just as the first half looked like it was finally winding down, with Scotland really clinging to that narrow, manageable one-goal margin, disaster strikes for the underdogs. In the 3rd minute of first half stoppage time, literally the worst possible time to concede, Vinícius Júnior strikes again. He latches onto this brilliant face of play to bag his brace, cushioning Brazil's lead to 2-0 right before the whistle. Going into the locker room down 2 goals instead of 1, it completely changed the entire complexion of the match. Chapter 2. The lethal second half. Let's see how the tactics shifted. This next phase brilliantly illustrated the tactical contrast between the two squads. Scotland tried to adjust by subbing out captain Andy Robertson for Kieran Tierney, really hoping to inject some much-needed defensive stability. But what did they run into? Brazil's relentless attacking flair. This was perfectly personified by midfielder Bruno Guimarães, who was just continuously driving the ball forward. It was basically an attempt at stability, meeting a completely unstoppable attacking machine. And that relentless push culminated right at the hour mark. This was the dagger, guys. Guimarães is driving forward near the top of the penalty area, smoothly skips right past his marker, and lays off this absolute inch-perfect pass to Matheus Cunha. And Cunha's first touch, oh, it was lethal. He slots home a cold, clinical finish to make it 3-0. At 60 minutes in, that strike pretty much put the game entirely out of reach for Scotland. With the result essentially sealed at that point, the atmosphere totally shifted from tense competition to just pure celebration for the Brazilian fans. As we saw, with about 15 minutes left on the clock, the crowd just erupted. Miami Stadium was literally deafening. But here's the thing, they weren't just cheering for that 3-0 scoreline. They were cheering for the guy walking up to the sideline, getting ready to check into the game. Yup, at the 75th minute, Brazilian icon Neymar made his highly anticipated 2026 World Cup debut. Coming off the bench, he wasted zero time getting involved. I mean, even with a commanding lead, he immediately started testing the Scottish backline, putting them under severe pressure with his incredibly dangerous set pieces. It was a massive moment for the tournament as a whole, really sending a signal that Brazil's attacking depth is just on another level. But, you really have to give immense credit to Scotland's heart here. They fought until the literal dying seconds of the match. They were so desperate to secure a consolation goal to take away from the night. And they almost had it. The hardworking McTominay actually managed to force a brilliant point-blank save from Brazilian goalkeeper Alisson Becker. It was this stunning reflex stop that ensured Brazil kept their clean sheet, and it really proved that they are just as hyper-focused defensively as they are lethal offensively. Section 3. What happens next? Let's take a look at the standings. So the final whistle blows, confirming Brazil's 3-0 supremacy and bringing us to the harsh reality of the Group C table. For Brazil, mission accomplished, right? They've comfortably secured the top spot in the group, validating that heavyweight status, and they are marching right into the knockout rounds with some serious momentum. But for Scotland, well, it's an entirely different story. Because of this defeat, they are now forced into a highly nervous wait. They have to sit back, watch the rest of the tournament unfold, and rely entirely on tournament math to see if they can somehow slip through to the round of 32 as one of the best third-place teams. Which really leaves us with this final lingering thought to close out will Scotland's 2026 World Cup dream actually survive this agonizing wait? They played with spirit, they fought until the very last second against a 5-time champion. But is the math going to fall in their favor, or is this the end of the road for the Tartan Army? That right there is the beauty and honestly the cruelty of the group stages. And it's exactly why we're going to be watching every single minute of the matches to come. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.